Hello, I'm Sanuki. This is my sociology interview for final assignment.
What are three main takeaways from sociology and how can they be applied to real world issues?
First takeaway is socialization. According to Parson, it explains how people learn the norms, values, and roles of their culture, shaping their behaviors and beliefs. For example, schools and families teach their children how to act in socially acceptable ways. The second takeaway would be inequality. According to Marx, sociology highlights how systems like education, law often benefit certain groups over others. This can help us to, knowing this can help us to make fair policies. Final takeaway would be how we make a social change. According to Bloomer, he explains that studying labels and norms helps us in sociology to learn how attitudes change over time, such as changing views of LGBTQ plus community. These things help us to make new policies and avoid discrimination and help us with addressing poverty issues. So I think these are the three main takeaways I got from sociology.
How does socialization shape individuals and reinforce cultural norms?
As we learned in the socialization unit in class, socialization is how individuals fit into society. It happens through agents of socialization like families, schools, peer, and media. For an example, children are taught in school how to respect authority, which helps them later in life when they are in a workplace. Socialization reinforces cultural norms like shaking hands, bowing to elders in some cultures, while it also reinforces. There are some norms like it can also limit people. Boys are taught to act tough, while girls are taught to be gentle. So that can limit people as well.
Why do socialization experiences differ based on factors like class, race, or gender?
Socialization is not same for everyone because everyone lives in a different social conditions. For example, middle class parents might teach their children to learn how to solve problems and different leadership skills, but working class people might teach their children to follow rules and how to be disciplined. Also, race and gender also plays huge role. For an example, girls are supposed to play with toys like dolls from young age. It encourage them to be caregiving, and but boys get trucks. Parents give them trucks, robots kind of things because they promote physical activity mostly, while girls are supposed to be caregiving.
What does it mean to say that deviance is socially constructed?
Deviance refers to activities that are not supported by different cultures, but these are not the same everywhere in the world. For an example, having a tattoo was like a deviant back then. It was not promoted in Western cultures, but now it's like a mainstream art. Like everyone likes to get a tattoo. It's not prohibited. Nobody sees it. We can't say nobody, but so many people in Western countries do not see it as a deviant behavior. Another example would be the same-sex marriages. Now people have rights for same-sex marriages, but back then they did not have it. So now it's widely accepted. So it's not a deviant behavior anymore. But this used to be a deviant behavior. So socially constructed means this changed over time, like what is deviant and what is not. With the time passing by and how people react to it, it changes over time. Okay. According to Blomer, his symbolic interactionism theory explains how people react to deviant behavior depends on the labeling and how they interpret behaviors. So it changes over time. This shows that society, not the act itself, it changes over time, and once a deviant behavior will change over time, and it will not be the deviant behavior in couple of years.
How does inequality influence crime and the criminal justice system?
Inequality impacts who is seen as a criminal and how the justice system treat them. For an example, in Canada, if you take races like black people and indigenous people, they're stopped by police more often than white people. So this makes this explains us that there is a racial difference and there's like unfair treatment. When we take Marx conflict theory, it explains us that the laws are there to protect the wealthier people, like it enforced like protect the powerful people. Wealthy people can afford more legal representations, while like poor people can't even like pay the money to get out of jail if they were caught for some small issues where they can pay some money and get out, but they can't even get out because they don't have enough money. So laws are there to protect the powerful, not everyone equally.
What are the social challenges posed by rapid urbanization?
Urbanization brings people into cities because they have more job opportunities, but it also creates more challenges for them as well. Overcrowding can lead to housing like shortages and rent like high rent issues like we see in Vancouver right now. It also increases the waste a lot, and there's like huge traffics that you have to face like every day to work or to school. So it creates more like time waste as well. When we use structural and functionalism theory, it explains that rapid changes like urbanization can disrupt the social balance. What I understand from this is without proper planning, like rapid like changes like urbanization, growing cities can decrease the access to like clean water, air, like proper healthcare, and schools and hospitals, like very essential things.
How can urban planning promote sustainability and equity?
Urban planning is planning to address the challenges in urbanization in cities. Urban planning can help us to create sustainable options and make inclusive cities. For example, if we take Vancouver, Vancouver has implemented green housing designs, and there's public transportations for people so they don't have to spend more time on roads wasting their time. They can go to work or schools on time. They have a lot of options, like a lot of time availability. And another one is affordable housing programs that address so like environmental issues and social issues. When we talk about equity, like sociology helps us to plan and focus on reducing inequality, like building like accessible public spaces for all income levels and people with different kinds of abilities and disabilities, and also it helps to protect marginalized communities from being displaced.
What factors shape social mobility in Canada, and who faces the greatest barriers?
Social mobility is how we can move up or down the like social ladder. So it is actually shaped by factors like education, family, income, and discrimination. So access to higher education actually improves the mobility, like social mobility, but like some barriers like poverty, racism make it really hard for people, like for some people, to move up the social ladder. If you take an example, the indigenous community in Canada, they face significant barriers in social mobility, like going up in the ladder. Because of their like historical injustice that they have faced and limited access to quality education. Conflict theory explains us like these barriers are the results of unequal power and unequal resource distribution within the society.
How does inequality manifest in areas like income, healthcare, and education?
Inequality is like very visible in many areas, as we learned in our class about social inequality and social mobility. If we talk about income, women in Canada earn 87 cents for every dollar men earn, which shows how the gender wage gap differences. In healthcare, when we take rural areas in Canada or like indigenous communities, they have fewer services, they have like fewer places that they can go to get healthcare services, which gives like a poor outcome. When we take education, wealthier like neighborhoods like often have better funded school than rural areas and indigenous communities in Canada.
How do feminism and patriarchy shape our understanding of gender, sex, and sexuality?
As we learned in gender, sex, and sexuality lesson, patriarchy is a social system where men hold more power, and they reinforce traditional gender roles and expectations. It influences how society views gender, sex, and sexuality, often marginalizing those who do not conform to these norms. For like an example, women may face barriers when like they want to go to a leadership role, and men may be discouraged when they wanna like show emotional vulnerability. In other hand, when we take feminism theory, feminism challenges patriarchal norms, like advocating for gender equality, and they question social norms that normally restrict individuals from um, jobs and other things based on their gender and sexuality. It also highlights issues like lack of reproductive rights, gender wage gap, and discrimination against LGBTQ plus community. Also, they work to create a more inclusive society where everyone can have equal rights to everything, to do anything they want in life. In conclusion, sociological theories help us to understand why people act in a certain way in different societies, and these behaviors help us to communicate with each other better and understand them better, and helps us to make proper policies to address different issues in the society. So it is important to know why people in society acts in different ways. So I think it is important to learn about sociology so we can have a better future with different cultures and people in the society.